Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Menifee in California on this gorgeous, beautiful, thankful Thursday. Sorry, I'm on a little late. I took a nap and I got woken up when my phone went ding to remind me that it was time to get online, and I have my reminders set for 10 minutes and 30 minutes, and I thought it was the 30-minute timer, and it turned out to be the 10-minute one. Oops. But sometimes you just got to have a snooze, and I am grateful that I got flexibility in my schedule, that I can just go take a snooze when I need to. And it was just a quick 30-minute power nap, which turned into a little longer. It was supposed to be 30 minutes, and it turned into almost an hour, but I guess that comes from staying up late. So how was your Thankful Thursday today? Did you get through the what were you grateful for today for your mindset? Your business was who are you grateful for, and your fun was how do you show gratitude. So how did you do with your Thankful Thursdays today? I had an awesome day. I got a lot of stuff done, which is good, because getting stuff done is nice because it gets stuff off that project board over there. It's always nice when you can peel things off. I still haven't had I know I need to. I just haven't had the drive to sit down and write yet. Because remember yesterday on my accountability call, I discovered that there's a lot of stuff going on in my head, and it's blocking a lot of other stuff from coming in. So I need to release what's in my head, release some stuff out of my head. So I need to unpack some stuff out of my head so it allows the new stuff, room for new stuff to be received. But for some reason, I sit with pen and paper in front of me all day, every day. I've got a computer in front of me. And do you think I can pick up the pen and write what's in my head? No. So I'm going to focus on that. I got time set aside tomorrow to actually do that. So the Musketeers, they are the reason that I had to go have a snooze today. It was a BBC program, I think it was, called the Musketeers, and it came out. Let's see, Brad was still alive when we watched season 1 and season 2 together, but we never saw season 3. And there was only 3 seasons, 30 episodes, and that was all that they did. But it was a great series. I thought, oh, they've got all 3 seasons here. I'm going to watch it. So I've been watching like 2 episodes a night. And then last night it got down to the fact that there was just 4 episodes left, and we're on to season 3, and there's 4 episodes left. And I've watched my 2, and I actually turned the TV off and made like I was going to get up and go to bed, because it's like 11 o'clock at night. And Zeffie was asleep on the captain's seat next to me, because I sit in the recliner and she curls up on the seat there, but at the moment she's curled up on her bed over there. So, Zeffie. Hello? You want to say hello? No, we can just go back out the window. So I sat there, and so Zeffie gets up. Oh, she looks at me. So I said, well, what are you doing? And then I'm sort of like, there's only 2 episodes left, and it's getting really, really good, because each story builds upon each one, and each episode has its own story, but the backstories get built on and built on and built on. And it's like, oh, there's 2 episodes, 2 hours. Yeah, it was one of those sort of moments like, do I do it? Do I not do it? And then I was like, damn it, I'm going to do it. I can't wait until tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to sleep. If I go to bed now, I'm not going to be able to sleep, because I'm going to be wondering what's going to happen, what's happening now, because the king has died, and Travell's taking over as the regency. So what's happening? What's going on? Actually, no, the king died at the end of the last episode. So then there was two programs left, and I was like, oh, I've got to find out what happens. And so I turned the TV back on. Zeffie takes one look at me, gets up off the chair, walks into her crate, and curls up and goes to sleep like we're supposed to be going to bed. And then she puts her head back around the corner of the crate to look at me like, are you really going to do this? And I went, yeah, I'm sorry. So she goes back into her crate and goes to sleep. And and I watched the last 2 episodes. They were awesome. There's some people in there I just wanted to, there's some characters that you get on some programs, you just want to slap them across the face, slap them stupid. So I'm like, really? Can I just take that soot of yours and just run it through his heart or something? Because they're just so but they add to the story, and I know that they add the tension to the story. But so I finally finished at 1:30 this morning, and I got up, and Zeffie's in her crate, and I looked at her and I said, "You coming to bed?" And the picture that I snapped and put on my Facebook page, that was the look that she gave me when I asked her if she wasn't coming to bed. I think I actually put it in her Facebook group into Zeffie's Great Adventures. So that was the picture that I snapped at 1:30 this morning when I asked her if she was coming to bed, and the look she gave me, sort of like half asleep, like, what the hell are you talking about? But she did eventually come into bed. It just took her a while, I think, to register that, like, oh, hang on, Mum's turning out the lights, and Mum's gone into the bedroom, and oh, maybe I should go in there too. But anyway, so that was 1:30 this morning, and then of course I had to read before I go to sleep, because if I don't read, I can't sleep. So it's a routine. There's a routine for when I go to bed, and if I miss a step, I can't sleep until I do whatever that step is that I missed, and then I can go back to sleep. But anyway, so today when I was doing some different evaluations and stuff like that, and applying for different freelance jobs and things like that, utilizing my skills in other ways, and diversifying. And one of the ones I had to apply for asked me to do a video. I had to do a cover letter and a video for a job. And so I wrote this cover letter to go with it. I put in there because people like to know, how do you resolve issues and all of that sort of stuff, or show us some out of the box thinking, that sort of thing. So I shared one of my stories on that, and then I get to this video thing, and they want me to tell a story on how I improved something for a client, and something unexpected for the client, how I did something unexpected for the client that resulted in a good outcome for the client. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have so many stories. And so I got in there and I told them, look, I have a lot of stories. I said, but my most favorite one I've put in the cover letter. I said, but the other one I have. And so then I proceeded to tell the story on the video. And it suddenly got me thinking that there are people, when they're selling or marketing, they're fact. And some people are sort of like, bleh. People like me, we love the stories. Facts tell, stories sell. That's how the saying goes. And until you actually hear the thing. So what I want to hear from you is where you in your business have gone that extra mile for a client that has resulted in a win for the client. I have so many stories over the years where I have done stuff for clients to surprise them, to go that extra mile to help them with an issue that they had. There's been times I've even resolved issues for clients even though they weren't purchasing through me at the time, but helped them over a hump that they had, gave them some ideas on things that they needed to ask the person that they were dealing with, and that sort of thing. Because in travel, when you have a group going, when you're booking into a group, you can only book into the group through the agency that booked the group. So if I was having a group cruise, then people could only get into my group by booking through my agency. And when that happens, it means that you've now gained another client. So there were times that other travel professionals would call me and say, hey, my client so-and-so is going to be going on your cruise. And I go, okay, thanks for letting me know. And I would flag their file to state that that was so-and-so's client, to make sure that I didn't put any marketing to them. I says, okay, that's fine. I'll just put them in there for the group, and I'll flag their file that I don't send them any marketing. Don't put them on the mailing list. I won't do any direct marketing to them and that sort of stuff. So I would go ahead and do that. And vice versa. If I had a client of mine wanting to go on a group cruise, I said, okay, you've got to book through the agent. I said, who's the agent? And I would call the agent and let them know, this is who I am, and this is my client that's coming on this cruise, because we all know that's how the thing goes. And even as a travel professional, if you're going on a group cruise, you still have to book through that agent of record. So it's helping clients through that process as well. Sometimes they say, like, but I want to deal with you. I said, look, I'm sorry. I said, this is the way the industry runs. And so I said, but I will call that agent on your behalf and let them know that you're my client. And I said, we'll get it all taken care of. And I ended up giving her some extra onboard credit while she was on the cruise and all that sort of stuff, just to say, hope you have a great time, or send her something when she got back. I can't remember what it was. But the fact that I went that extra mile for her, even though she wasn't booking the cruise through me, she was absolutely appreciative of that. So one of my favorite stories is back in my hotel days. So we're talking back 20 years ago. Oh my gosh, that was 20 years ago. Yeah, because it was May 30th, because it was the day after Memorial Day, May 30th of 2000, when I started working for the Residence Inn, when I started working for Marriott International. So yeah, that was over 20 years ago. Wow. So one of my roles there is I was the gatehouse supervisor. And as gatehouse supervisor, and I worked in the food and beverage. So if you've ever been into a Residence Inn, they have that common area called the gatehouse. And that's where they serve breakfast every morning, and Monday through Friday they do like an evening social thing. And so that was my responsibility, was that gatehouse area plus the public space area and the bathrooms, that sort of thing, to make sure they got cleaned and all that sort of stuff. So I had my helper, my team, and we would take care of all of that, putting the food out, breaking the food down, cleaning up afterwards, all of that sort of stuff. But and part of my role as supervisor is they also wanted me to be a concierge as well. So I was like, I can do that. And so we're in Northern Virginia. It was at the Fairfax Merrifield Residence Inn, and so we were like a mile from the metro station. So we used to send a lot of people into downtown because they wanted to go see the Smithsonian museums and all of that sort of thing, and the stuff that was down there. And I was sort of like, okay, do not drive into DC. They're like, why? I said, because they have this one-way system you'll never figure out. I said, I live in the area and I don't drive into DC. I get my husband to drive me, or I take the train. And so they would then go park down at the train and take the train in, and figure that was so much better, because I said, you will spend more time looking for a parking space than you will actually sightseeing. So they would go in and have a great time and all that, blah, blah, blah. And I'd give them all the good places to go to, the good things to do, and give them those little unknown secrets, those little, unknown secrets that, if you go here and do this. And I would give kids things to do, like when they went to the Air and Space Museum, I said, if you're going through this door off Constitution Avenue and then you take a right into the first room there, I said, on the left there'll be these scales, and you go stand on these scales and you press the buttons, and you can find out what you weigh on Earth, and then find out what you weigh on the moon, on Jupiter, on Saturn, and all that sort of thing. I said, tell me what you weigh on, I think one kid, I told him like Jupiter or something, and he comes running back to me the next morning. He's like, Miss Helen. I'm like, what? He says, I weighed 183 pounds on Jupiter. And I'm like, wow. So it was kind of cool to give kids tasks of things, because I had spent months going through Smithsonian museums and I still did not get to see everything that was on display. But I would remember, there were certain things that would stick in my memory. And so when it came to having kids and sending them into DC, it would be like, if you figured out which museum they were going to, okay, when you go through like in the American Museum, before they did all the renovations and stuff, I haven't been back since they'd done the renovations, but before they did all the renovations and stuff, I said, when you go through the White House display, I said, what animal is in the elevator? And they look at me and go, what do you mean? I said, there was a president. I said, you've got to tell me who the president was, with all of his kids that were that were living in the White House with him at the time, and one of his kids was sick. So his siblings got this animal and took it in the elevator up to the residence area of the White House, so that the sick sibling could see their pet. So what animal was in the elevator and who was the president, and they would come back and tell me all the information and everything else, and how many kids this guy had. And the information they would find out and come back, it wouldn't just be that one thing, because the kid that did the 183 on Jupiter says, and then I went to Pluto, and I went to Saturn, and I went to Mars, and this is how much I weighed here, and he was telling me all the different planets and moons that he and how much he weighed on each one. So they wouldn't just look at the one thing that you sent them there to do. They would look at other things and come back and tell you things. So it was making it interactive for them. But anyway, back to my story. I was doing my little walk through the breakfast area that morning and talking with the guests and that sort of thing. And I happened to overhear a couple talking about what they were going to do for dinner that evening. And Residence Inn usually dealt with a lot of long-term people staying. And so if you've never been in a Residence Inn, it's an all-suite hotel. It has a kitchen area, a dining area, the bedroom area, and the bathroom. And the kitchen area for the studios and the one bedrooms had hot plates and a microwave. It did not have a full stove with an oven. That was in the two-bedroom units. And so this couple was staying in a one-bedroom unit, and they were so cute. Their room wasn't. You could see the entrance to their room from the front desk, because they were just in that first hallway, and they wanted to be there because they also had a couple of dogs with them as well, so it was easy for them to get out with the dogs to go outside and go for a walk and all of that sort of thing as well. And so one day they were sitting having breakfast and they were talking about what they were going to do for dinner that evening. And the wife mentioned the fact that she says, I would absolutely love to have some fresh baked brownies. She says, I haven't had those in so long, and she's got a big craving for them. I wonder where we can go and get some. And she said, but I can't bake any because we don't have an oven. And this is what she's telling her husband, and I'm a couple of tables away and I'm hearing this conversation. So after breakfast had been cleaned up and everything else, all the chores have been done and stuff, I went and got money out of petty cash, went over to the supermarket, which was just next door, and there were trays of brownies that you could buy that you had to bake. So it had the batter in the tray, and then you put the tray in the oven and it would bake, and you could bake it. And then it was almost like it was a pre-made brownie, but it was just the batter, but you still had to bake it. So I went and got a tray of brownies, and then I got some vanilla ice cream, because you can't have hot, fresh brownies without ice cream. And I wrote a note on there, wrote a note on a card, and about 15 minutes before they were due to arrive back, or before the wife was due to arrive back, because the husband came in a little later, about 15 minutes before she was due back, I put the brownies into her room on the counter. The dogs were in crates, so they would not get into the brownies. Put them on the counter, put the note there with them, and put the ice cream in the freezer for them. And the note basically said, thought you might enjoy some brownies for dessert this evening, and oh, by the way, there's some ice cream in the freezer to go with them. Have an awesome day. And she came in, and imagine this. So the brownies have been sitting there for 15 minutes. So what happens with fresh baked brownies when they've been sitting for a bit? You open the door and you get that gorgeous chocolatey smell, that fresh baked chocolate smell. And she opened the door, and we were watching from behind the front desk. And we're looking busy. We're looking busy, but we're watching. Heads down, but we're watching. And we watch her open the door and watch her pause, and she looks all around and sniffs and just kind of inches into the room and all of that sort of thing, and comes back out like less than a minute later and comes to the front desk and goes, I can't believe you did that. She said, how did you know I wanted fresh? She said, I've been talking about these things for the last 3 days. And she said, but we had no way to bake them in the room because there's no oven in the room. And she says, you have just made my day. And it was just, that to me filled me up. It was doing something unexpected for a client and helping them have an amazing day. So what is a story that you have about how you went an extra mile for a client to add a surprise to their day, to make their day better, or to take a situation where they've had an issue and you found a creative way to solve their issue? So I would like you to write just your most favorite story, just one, in the comments below about that time that you helped that client, be it surprise them with something, or go the extra mile for them in some way, or come up with a creative solution for a problem that they had. Remember, facts tell, stories sell. So when you're telling the stories, people will hear them and they can relate to them. And some people will relate to them, some people won't. Some just want the facts, and that's fine too. But that's it from me. I got to go get on another call. So have a super fantastic, sparkling rest of your thankful Thursday evening, and we will catch you guys tomorrow morning, because tomorrow is Fun Friday. Oh, and my calendar is full of some great stuff tomorrow. But have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. Hei konera.